Baron Bedsores here, and welcome to our new YouTube channel. Right, it's the Baron. I did want to do a Breeders' Cup review, but all week I've been looking, and I think for the first time in about 5 or 6 years, the Breeders' Cup, I'm struggling to find value anywhere in the races, barring one. For a couple of weeks now, I've had about 3 or 4 horses in mind. 2 dropped out over the 2 weeks, and the other one, what I really fancy, there's a couple of negatives, and I'm not prepared to give it up for a selection. So this morning, again, I give the card another look, and I still came to the same conclusion that I'm only going to give out one selection in the old meet. So through the week I put a Chelsea Liverpool selection out, and I did say in that video, if Chelsea was still 11 to 10 or 21 to 20 come Friday, I'm going to find something to double it up with, and it will be the selection what we're going to put out for the Breeders' Cup tonight. But we'll get to that near the end of the video. I just want to run through a couple of races what I picked out and decided to discard. Right, so I looked at the 9:35 Breeders' Cup Classic. Now for me, it's a 2-horse race, and anything past Glen Eagles in the race and the betting, you can forget it. All what I can see happening in this race is On a Cold, turning for home, kicking on, followed by American Pharaoh. And American Pharaoh moving whenever it feels like and doing it, and maybe winning by 2.5 lengths, 3 lengths even maybe. So, and I did consider putting out the forecast, or the reverse forecast, sorry, but because of the price of American Pharaoh, it ain't going to be worth it. And tomorrow at the track, they're going to rip into American Pharaoh even more. I think some Americans think it's their banker of the meet, so I scrapped that one. That had to go in the bin. Then I looked at the 850, the Breeders' Cup Turf with Golden Horn. So Golden Horn's 4-6. 1, it's far too short for me, and 2, there might be juice in the ground, or they're expecting juice in the ground tomorrow. Last time Golden Horn run when there was juice in the ground, it got turned over in the Judgment at York, and it got beat by an horse called Arabian Queen. Now I'm sure in that field tomorrow there's better horses than Arabian Queen, so just in case there is juice in the ground tomorrow, Golden Horn's got to be binned. He might go and win the race, and he might win it with fucking bollocks in his chest, but for me, the price is far too short, and at the risk of juice, I'd rather just sit and watch the race and clap it in if it wins. So that one got binned. So I turned my attention to tomorrow's card, and I looked at a couple of races, and at Down Road tomorrow there's a horse running in the 240 called Don Cossack. Now it should win that race. Don Cossack, I'm considering giving out for my anti-post to win the Cheltenham Gold Cup. That'll be out in a couple of weeks. I'm just a bit undecided yet, but it's more unlikely that I'll be giving it out for my Gold Cup selection for next year. But the thing is with that race, it's a 4-runner affair, so you can't go giving out 1 to 4 selections, so that one got binned. So then looked at the Charlie Hall Chase at Weatherby at 3:05, and there's one horse what stands out tomorrow, and it's Dinas. It's getting better weight all round. It's already to spin out in France over hurdles, and the reason I'm not putting it up is for that run over hurdles in France. I know it was an hurdle race and it was out in France, but it was an under par performance. Also, Dinast always seems to be an hard luck story where it seems to get beat by the better horse. I mean, if you look at its form, you've got a Cheltenham last time out, got beat by Many Clouds, then Silviato beat it, and then 3 times on the bounce, and then Idden, I think Hidden Cyclone beat it, and a couple of them, and Sylviato and QCar beat it. Thinking from right, it just seems to always get beat by another better horse, and it's always the bridesmaid. And I just don't think it's got the belly for the job. It's not been the same horse, that horse, since the Ryanair, when it won the Ryanair Chase at Cheltenham. But that's my opinion, and that's what racing's about, I suppose. Opinions, innit? So that one got binned. So finally we get to the selection what we're offering up to go in the double with Chelsea, and it was in the 6-10 at Kingsland in the Breeders' Cup Fillies and Mares race, and the horse we're offering up is Legitissimo. Right, I don't really want to go on about opposition tomorrow because I don't really think it'll help. I think what would help would explain the last 4 races and how I've come to pick the selection. So a first bat Legitissimo back in April, and it was to win an anti-post bet to win the Oaks. So as the Oaks got nearer and nearer, the price got shorter and shorter, and eventually she went off 5-2 favourite. So on that day, she is a quite highly strung animal, and more often than not she's walked down, and more so back then she was highly strung. Ryan Moore was forced to do a few things what he didn't want to do, or the horse what didn't want to do in the race, and it's none of their faults really, it's just how the race panned out. So I think the conversation before the race would have gone, right Ryan, out the back with no previous form, she doesn't like being in big fields, see out what happens. But this is my only opinion, because I don't think the horse at the time liked to be surrounded in big fields with other horses. So the race goes off and he's out at the back. So just as they're approaching the top of the hill and they're going to start freewheeling down, there's no pace in the race, so Ryan Moore has to move Legitissimo up, because I think he's frightened that he's going to get done for a bit of toe because there's no pace in the race. So they've entered the straight and his hand's forced. The horse is in a position where he's got to go on her, and if you look at the race at the head on, Legitissimo's reaction to Ryan Moore is, right, well, I'm going to go, but I don't really want to go. Ryan Moore gets her out, and you can see he's got a ton of horse underneath him. So much so that when Legitissimo passes Lady of Dubai, she tries to take a chunk out of her, and we all know what happens after that. Qualifier comes along and just nicks the race. Right, so we'll go to the Pretty Polly Stakes next for Legitissimo's next race, 1 mile 2 at the Curragh. And halfway round, Ryan Moore must have thought he had this in the bag. She switched off, she's no miver, she's lobbing along great, happy days. Problems only occur when they swing for home at the 3 furlong point now at the Curragh, so quite sharp right-hander. So you've got 1 and 2, can't remember which order, but you've got Diamonds and Rubies and Secret Gesture, Ralph Beckett and Efferman. And as they're going through the turn, they're squeezing their horses, trying to nick a length. Obviously Moore can see or sense what's going to unfold, and as he's going through the turn, he asks her to go, so come on, follow him. And she gets trapped, well, not trapped, but it must seem to her that she gets trapped, and she gets carried through the bend with these 2 horses. So when she straightens up, she's still got these 2 horses either side of them. Now if you look at the head on, everyone's rowing all the mounts, and we're getting to the busier end of the race now, and it looks like she's not moving, she's not going anywhere. It's only till Secret Gesture comes back to the pack and Diamond and Rubies actually takes a slight veer to the left. Legitissimo can see this open ground, this gap this open space, and she naturally just takes it and goes for it, and she ends up then on the rail scraping paint. But unfortunately the race is coming up, the line's not coming quick enough, and she just fails to get up. So she turns up next time out at Goodwood in the Qatar Stakes, and when I looked in the paper and looked online or whatever I did to decide whether I was having a punt in the race, I was a bit dubious because of what had happened last time out at Curran, obviously in Oaks. So ends up having a small bet, but I did have a punt and a small bet on her. And bear in mind as well, in this field you had Arabian Queen, who went out next time out and beat Golden Arm. Granted, on ground Golden Arm didn't like, but she still went out and beat him. You had Lady of Dubai, who she tried to take a chunk out of in the straight the Oaks. Plus you had Diamonds and Rubies, who she got beat by last time out. And with that, and on top of, I didn't think she would get much room at Goodwood as she would have got at the Curragh. I was still a bit dubious, but anyway, they jump out the stalls, and normally, as a rule, you can check the races, Ryan Moore lets them all jump out, he settles her at the back and then progresses in the race. This time out, only been on to the trainer and jockey, and the jockey on that day was, I think it was Wayne Lorden. Yeah, Wayne Lorden that day jumps out and he's in the middle of the field, middle of the back. And I remember I turned round to a friend who was sitting close to me, and I said, I think I've done my dough in here. So obviously we're watching the race unfold. So we're approaching the home turn now, and for the first time I've seen this horse go round into the straight and pass horses confidently, and still up to this point in the race she's travelled the best. She's confident and travelled really comfortably, and the jockey, even in the home straight, is still taking cover because he don't want to let her go too soon. And when she does get out and she sees she's got a clear run in front of her, she just goes and no one can go with her. And what makes that footage look like she's slowing up, because she's quite central and she likes to tack across to the rail. So as soon as she's got out and she's got a clearing, she's just moved to the right and just gone to the rail, and in doing that manoeuvre she's lost a couple of lengths, that's all, but she's won the race very comfortably. So in between the Curragh race and the race at Goodwood, the trainers ironed out the kinks with her, and she looks a world beater, and she's a confident selection now. When she turned up at Leopardstown next time out, I was looking for a price the night before, and I looked at the horses in the race and I thought, hey, I wasn't going to get even money for her. I went on the exchanges and ended up getting 3-1 for her. Now, if you watch this race at Leopardstown, it's sort of a continuous bend, let's say, right through to the home straight. She pings out midfield and she's on the outside all the way around until we come to the home straight. While the others are rowing, she just takes it in a stride and she looks a world beater, and she leaves them for dead again. This horse, if it was American and it was one of their own, it would be the Yankee Banker of the meet, this. If it was banned in the States, you wouldn't be able to touch it because the price would be so short. Like I said earlier on, if this horse gets beat, I'd be so shocked. So what we're going to do with her, we're going to double her up with Chelsea tomorrow, and we're going to have a single on her as well, because I think it's a penalty kit tomorrow. Sorry, it's been a bit long-winded and you've had to wait to the end to get your selections and the whys and wherefores, or you might have just fast forwards to the end. If you have, so be it. Whatever you choose this weekend, I hope you have a winning weekend, and thanks for listening. Cheers the Baron.